And that's what I'm going to write in my next feature. The amazing coincidence of the letters of fire and Ed Carney's death. Bagley, you can't print that. It's too sensational, too incredible. Don't forget, Wilson, in the morning's Blade. Read it, the reporter said, hanging up. Sensational was too mild a word for Bagley's story. From the moment the paper hit the stands, the newspaper's telephone switchboard had a record day, and all who called asked the same questions. Was the story true, and was old Joe really a prophet? Bagley sat in the editor's office. From the smile on the editor's face, as he read the cutout feature on the desk before him, it was evident that Bagley was no longer in the doghouse. "Bagley," the editor said, looking up, "this is the best thing you've ever done, by far. You've got people talking, asking whether Jones or Wilson will die the same way. Keep that interest at white heat. Remember the ending of your story." The editor began to read again, this time aloud, except for those 3 words, the end of. The rest of the sign was dark. The driver swore to that. No one else saw the sign go dark. Perhaps the driver is subject to hallucinations. Perhaps it was just a horrible coincidence that Ed Carney was at the curb when the accident happened. Perhaps it is an excessive use of our imagination to say that huge electric sign foretold Carney's death. Of that we know nothing. But this we do know. Carney died as old Joe said he would. Whether the old man of Looney Circle is a prophet reincarnated to play his role in modern times, or charlatan giving way to his senile anger, remains to be seen. One died because he scoffed. The other 2? The editor finished reading, his voice satisfied. "Now listen, Bagley," he directed. "Get out there to Looney Circle and interview the old nut. Check on Jones and Wilson. Follow them about if you have to. Nothing will happen, of course, but you have enough material there for another 2 weeks." Bagley stared in disbelief when he arrived at the Circle. He didn't know until then what a furor his story had created. The crowd was so thick, the police captain of that district had to place a half-dozen policemen there to maintain order. Bagley didn't need to ask where old Joe was. Where the largest crowd was gathered, he could see Joe's long white hair swirling about his emaciated face. And even from where he stood, Bagley could almost feel the fanatic gleam of the old man's brilliant eyes. Bagley was in luck. The old man had evidently just arrived, and from his first words it was also evident he read the newspapers, particularly the Blade. If nothing else, the old man was an actor. He spoke in a slow, measured strain. "The moving finger writes, and having writ moves on. So it was written, but know this also, that what the moving finger writes will be done in letters of fire. There shall be none of ye here who shall not be weighed in the balances, and many shall be found wanting." Bagley almost laughed aloud when he saw the effect the words created on the crowd. Awe was in every face, and fear also. It was as though they all had come to cast stones, and with his first words, the old man had stopped them cold. "The time has come," old Joe was saying now, "when the unbelievers of this world, the scoffers and the idolaters, shall know of their end. Aye, in letters of fire, writ against the sky, shall the judgment be known. As I have prophesied for 3, so soon shall I prophesy for all." Bagley whistled softly to himself. The old man had left his box. Slowly the tall, white-haired figure made its way through the silent crowd, and as Bagley watched old Joe walk through one of the gates, he felt a thrill, a compound of fear and horror, take hold of him. The strange thought struck him that he might be helping to create a Frankenstein monster.